This is the Knowledge Arena. It's a place for music creation and content and conversation. And I'm joined by Jenna G, Eva Lazarus, and Iman Amrani. So we're going to be talking about making it in music in a man's world, because we've got a lot to say as women of colour here. And first of all, I want to know how you all are. How are you enjoying the festival? Introduce yourselves individually and tell me a highlight from the festival.
Hello, I'm Jenna G, and I really enjoyed the festival because I got to play at the amphitheatre on Wednesday with the amazing Outlook Orchestra, which was insane. Biscuit, I know your mum enjoyed it. That's nice to see you here, darling. And that's definitely been a highlight for me. It's one of the most incredible things I've ever done as a performer.
I'm so sad to have missed it.
Oh, mate, it was amazing. Seriously, watch it back on the live stream, everybody. It's on outlook.com.
Hi, I'm Eva Lazarus, and I watched the live. I watched the live stream, and you smashed it. It was so good. Like, I can't believe the levels of celebration for the 10-year is amazing. It was wonderful. But I'm a singer. I played at the Clearing on Thursday and a boat party yesterday morning, which was difficult. It was hard work with the hangover. and I'm playing again this evening with Gentleman's Dub Club at 11:15.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna have to third that and just say that as far as highlights go, seeing the orchestra, I was waiting for Dizzy Rascal. I was like, okay, this is what I'm here for, and I was so shocked. I think that was definitely it just set the tone. It was incredible. My name's Iman Amrani. I work for The Guardian. I'm a video producer and presenter, but also dabble a bit in written pieces and Instagram. So music is part of what I've done. I've done interviews. I do social media things. But it's not the only thing I do. I do a lot of news features as well about things like terrorism, police brutality, just issues that I personally really think we need to be shedding more light on. So that's me.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Let's just get straight in. First of all, I want to talk about access into the music industry and the media industry. And if you could all sort of just talk about how you got into it, specifically in Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, and London, and just about what sort of barriers you faced and what you thought that there was a lack of and that you would have liked to have seen when you were first coming in and making your first steps in.
Sorry, I'll just start because we've been having conversations by the pool the past 2 days, hungover and trying to get our stuff together. But for me, one of the things when I first came into drum and bass, I was brought in as a drum and bass singer, MC, and there was no other women anywhere when I came into drum and bass. There was Storm and Flight and Chemistry, but that was it. And then there was people like Diane Charlemagne and Onnalee, but they were vocalists that were kind of already working with other people. So in terms of when I came into drum and bass first, it was very much I'm just gonna do anything that I can, being the only woman here. And there wasn't really anyone that was doing the same thing as me in terms of MCing, singing. So if anything, I wish back at the start, I would have had more women to kind of look up to doing what I did. Fortunately, Storm and Flight and all them lot, drum and bass is a very male-dominated world, and us women do stick together a lot. Fanny power, that's what we like. And so, but within that, it would have been nice to have more people that did my thing, coming here this year and meeting so many amazing women who are independently, DJs, promoters, agents, managers, label owners, and all together, that's been totally inspiring for me this year to see that, and everybody doing it from so young as well, because I just think it's the sisterhood that's in music at the moment is really, really positive, and it's something that wasn't there when I first came in terms of, and it's wicked to see it now. So good. And I'm kind of just making friends with all the ladies, because it was I've been out there on my own for ages. Seriously.
For me, it was my mum's music taste is incredible. She's a junglist. She loves drum and bass. She loves hip hop. She loves reggae, and she loves strong women. So I always had those examples of strong women in music, and creativity is really supported in my family. My mum's an artist. My grandmother was a singer. So I was always surrounded by women who were creating, and because my mum, like, from as soon as there were vocals in drum and bass, it appealed that a feminine energy in drum and bass is definitely necessary. And I was actually saying to my DJ on Thursday, he played Uncut Midnight, and I was doing my warm up, la 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 la, and all of a sudden I was in front of the mirror, like lip syncing to your tune, and I was like, do you know how life is so funny like that? Like, something that has been my whole life, growing up listening to those sounds, to be here with a woman that's opened a lot of doors that I've been able to walk through is a big deal. It is a big deal. But yeah, that's how I got started.
So obviously my roots are a little bit different because I don't make music. So everyone asks me if I studied journalism at uni, and I'm always like, no, I didn't study journalism at uni. I was involved in student papers and the radio. That was like basically what I think I paid my tuition fees for. That was the only thing, having access to like a space where I could be using these programs and learning how to make everything sound good, look good, and all of that. And then I did a 2-week internship at The Guardian straight after uni. I was very lucky that they have one for ethnic minorities. It feels a bit weird though, because you feel like I want to be here because I'm good. I don't want to be here because you're doing me a favor because I'm underrepresented. Like, I want to be here on my own terms. But, you know, you work with what's given to you, right? You're not going to be too proud about that. So I was there. I was just hustling really hard. And basically, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to do written stuff, more in music, more in news. And I was really happy that I didn't have to listen to what people had told me and make a decision. I could just do what I wanted, which is a bit of everything. And like, I think the barriers that I found, for example, in music, is when you've got like bigger publications, there's people who are the gatekeepers to, you know, you getting commissioned and you getting, you know, your foot in the door. They're like, oh yeah, we're not really sure if Princess Nokia is really like going to appeal to a bigger audience. And then, you know, a long time later you hear they've done an interview with her, but you're like, rah, like I already knew about that ages ago, but whatever. So basically, like, I just found that, you know, we're blessed to be a generation that have got social media, and, you know, you can be sitting here getting annoyed about all the, you know, no's that are getting said to you, or you just kind of go out and start doing your own thing and people have to take notice of you. And also, like I say, it's a constant hustle. So I remember lying and saying I could edit videos and I couldn't. And then I basically like YouTube tutorialed it because I thought if it works for contouring, it's surely going to work for Premiere. So actually, you know what? It was all right. I managed to get done what I needed to get done. And that was how I first, you know, got my foot in the door. So I know that's a bit of a hodgepodge of things, but that's really what it all is. You know, there's not one thing that's going to be like, yeah, then I made it and I'm like now doing what I want to do. Yeah, so the hustle.
I can definitely vouch for that. Like, even with us, with Galdem, there were no doors, so we made our own basically. And that's just what you got to do sometimes. And I can't wait for other people.
The social media thing is so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm old. Like, I know I don't look it, like, don't crack. But like, I'm 37. So when I came through, like, the internet was literally like dial-up internet. So we didn't have Instagram. Like, we didn't have none of that. You know what I mean? And the thing that's fascinates me so much, like, at the moment, is like Galdem magazine. Like, I love it. Like, I love it. And it's wicked because it's like, it's just you just done it, and loads of people are just like subscribed to it. They you know, identify with it, and it's like, that is wicked, and it is a hustle. And nowadays you don't have to wait for a man with a checkbook, do you know what I mean, to come and sign it. You literally just go out there, do it yourself, and people will come to you and you can be like, maybe, but we're doing good on our own. So and that's what, for me, that's what's so fascinating right now, is just how people are just going, nah, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Do you know what I mean? And you can, like, technology and everything. Like, I love that you said if you can like YouTube a console. Like, I couldn't YouTube nothing. There was no YouTube. There was like no YouTube. I just had to be like, so like, what's this DJing thing? Like, what's one of these then? Like, what does it do? Do you know what I mean? And ask and then kind of be patronized by men when I had asked a question. You know what I mean? I went to like college and did like music production and stuff, and it was always like oh wow, it's so great to see a girl in here. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. Do you know what I mean?
Let's
like,
just get on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you just teach me what we all came here to learn, kind of thing? So, but yeah, just the social media thing is so important, really.
I want to talk a bit about festival lineups because we're all here at Outlook today and it's here in its 10th year. But we were having a little look online and we found that out of about 320, I want to say, acts in total here, there were 14 women of colour that we spotted on the bill. And for a festival that celebrates sound system culture, it is quite shocking. But this festival isn't. This festival was probably one of the better ones, unfortunately. It's sad to say. And there are plenty of others that are really, really guilty of it. Iman, I want to ask, so Female Pressure did a study last year and they found that 82% of festival lineups worldwide is made up of male artists. In what you do you reckon that's reflective of the way that it's reported and like that music in general is covered?
Interestingly, I think that there comes to be like a bit of a novelty around female artists. So the way that they get reported, actually, you know, you'll have someone like Nadia Rose or whatever, and then people will be like, oh yeah, it's like this woman artist and whatever. And it's like, no, but like, you should. I know that they're underrepresented, and you might think this is a good thing, but actually making it into a novelty is actually really patronising to what these people are doing. Like what these women are doing is just the same as what the guys are doing. And if you don't normalise that and you make it a novelty, you're just going to continue to like perpetuate that kind of that culture of not having a lot of women around. So I wouldn't say that they don't get coverage. I think the coverage they get sometimes. And I think that sometimes that also comes from the fact that they're getting interviewed or, you know, reviewed by white men who are automatically going to be like, oh yeah, like I totally get that I need to do something about this. And I'm like, well, if you maybe got some women of colour to do it, they'd be like, oh, like, you know, that's cool. That's like, I'm just going to get straight to the music. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. It's less of a novelty in that way, definitely.
Exactly. That's kind of how I see it.
Jenna, oh sorry, what did you want to say?
I was actually going to say it's funny because I've had my I've had to email ahead of events before to say can you just take the word femc off the poster because it makes me sick in my own mouth. Like it's like I think you can tell by the fact that I'm called Eva that if I'm going to be on the bill and I'm MCing, then I'm going to be a female and I'm going to be an MCing. Like you don't need to put female MC next to my name. I'm an MC. I am. That's what I am. It doesn't need to be like combined into female and MC into the most disgusting word. MC. No, fam. Nah. Get it off the poster. It's upsetting.
It sounds like a brand of tampons. Femc. For the music lady in your life.
So Jenna, operating in the drum and bass world, you do a lot of live performances. How does it make you feel when you're at certain festivals or certain events that are celebratory of black music and black culture and you don't really see that when you're looking out into the audience?
I mean, it's something that, one, I don't really think I've thought of that much, but if you put it into context in terms like, I guess it doesn't offend me so much, it just baffles me more than anything else, if I'm going to be honest, in terms of like, last night we went to watch Foreign Beggars, and one of the things that's been good walking around this festival is like, there's quite a lot of like gangs of just like black friends together on holiday, and I don't know why that seems so weird to me, but it's like you don't really see that like often at festivals and stuff. And so looking in the crowd last night at Foreign Beggars, it was predominantly white, but there were a lot of black guys and girls, people of color in the audience, like embracing their culture, being represented like that. Do you know what I mean? And for me, in terms of maybe not really thought about it until being at this festival, to kind of go, why is that a weird thing for me to see here? Why is that standing out to me? So yeah, that's like, you know what I mean? I never really thought about it before, but I don't know, why is that? It's because the same people are on the same lineup. Is it something to do with the way the festivals are promoted, marketed? Is like where they're promoting them, in what publications they're advertising them and stuff? I don't know, is that something like...
Yeah, no, definitely. Eva, in an interview earlier on this year with Music Musings and such, you said that 9 times out of 10 I'm usually the only woman on the lineup. In your opinion, like just sort of in your journey in your career, has that gotten better over time or not?
Recently.
Yeah.
Very, very recently, it's started to get better. And honestly, it's just the most beautiful thing. Like, not everybody is for everybody. You're not going to be best friends with everybody.
Yeah.
But when you see another woman at an event and she's playing there, you're like, yes, finally.
You know when you nod at another black person on the street or
Yeah.
another person of colour on the
Yeah.
street when you're like in a really white environment?
Yeah.
Is that how it makes
It's
you feel?
like when I nod at another, like if I'm fully Afro and I
Yeah.
see another Afro
Yeah,
across the
yeah.
room, like the light hits the Afro above everything else, and I'm like, that's my sister
That's my people.
over there. Yeah.
I want to talk a bit about representation because we all know why it's important, and we can all feel why it's important, but some people in the audience might not know. So growing up, I'd like to know what sort of artists and people and like figures of women of colour that you sort of looked up to coming up into your own, all of you.
For me, like I'm such like I will take my mum's CDs like off the shelf and I go to my room, and it was Tanya Stephens, and it was Lauryn Hill, and it was Erykah Badu, and it was Jill Scott, and it was not so much dancehall with my mum's music taste. She just didn't want me to learn certain dances. That would like I would hear like Lady Saw at my auntie's house, my auntie Charmaine. How tight my auntie Charmaine, and I would hear certain tunes, and my mum would like usher me out of the kitchen like you can't listen to chat to my buck, and like. I remember my mum cussed my cousin for teaching me the butterfly, and I
How old
But-
were you?
I was 11. I shouldn't have been doing that dance. I shouldn't have been doing that. But I can do it now, though. But those were the women. Like they had something to say for themselves. Like Tanya Stephens. From me a big gal and you not take certain talk. Tell her like a dibby ease off. She's a big woman. She's a boss woman. Those are the people that I looked up to when I started to develop my interest in music and especially sound system culture. Those were the women for me.
I think we're echoing the same kind of thing, like Erykah Badu. I was like, my dad was quite a rocker, right? And so he listened to a lot of like heavy metal and stuff in the house. So in terms of but it's like, you know, my thing wasn't so much like strong females. It was just like mixed race people that looked like me. So Prince was massive to me. I remember like seeing Prince and being like, yo, he looks exactly like me. He's like the same skin color, same kind of hair. So you know, I've been obsessed with Prince since like I was 5. And then like, you know, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, when he started getting lighter, I was like, oh, he's like the same as me, like kind of vibe, you know, like, you know, but it's true. It's like, it didn't really, in terms of like, and then Thin Lizzy as well is like a really big, Phil Lynott, who's the singer from Thin Lizzy, like a mixed race Irish guy that in a rock band, like back in the 70s, that was just like, boy, what you doing here in this club? You know what I mean? And it was like, he was a very good friend of my dad, so it was having someone like that in your life, automatically it was evident to me that you didn't have to play to the stereotypes that were given to you by the media, giving you the stereotypes of color. So like, as much as there was like Erykah Badu, when Erykah Badu's album came out, when Kelly's came out with that album, when Lauryn Hill dropped the album, it was just like, wow. But honestly, before that, my go-to people were people that were the same skin color, and it was Phil Lynott and Prince. Those were the only people in the media that were like, yeah. Or Mel and Kim, when they came out with Tay. See, that's how old I am. Everyone's like, who? They're like 2 sisters. They're like pop group. Yeah, they were like a UK pop group. They're 2 mixed race, gorgeous women. They were like twins, and they do all this like sick dancing and stuff. You'd be like, yeah, that's me. That's me. That Mel and Kim and thing.
Like it's really interesting because all the artists you say, like they're people that I definitely came to like a little bit later on, and also like you know, for me, the background is my dad's Algerian, so I grew up in this household in the UK, which was very Algerian. We had like sand pictures of like camels on our walls and stuff, and you know, we have like glass cabinets with our like nice Arabic tea sets and everything. But my dad, when he came over in like the late 70s, 80s, like he really like he lives music. He used to be a musician back in Algeria. That's how they made their money before he managed to come over to UK. They play at weddings, him and his 4 brothers. So he always loved music. He had this like big sound system in our house. He played the music. My mum would always be upstairs like, turn the fucking music off. But like, and we were just like, our dad's such a rebel. He's so sick, you know. Like, but like our dad, he loved like, he loved things like obviously Michael Jackson, but he had this really big thing about like Whitney Houston, and I always found it really weird because I was like, you know, like it's not the same thing because we're not from like a black background, or you know, we're Arab. But my dad, I feel like Algerians, they have like an identity crisis because they've got sub-Saharan Africans, they've got Arabs, they've got native people who were there before everyone, they've got like Europeans coming in. So I guess that kind of fed into everything, and we just took like a bit of everything. I'm really proud of Algerian music. Like Rai music is from the city my dad's from, and there's this guy called Cheb Khalid, and he's just amazing, like, and he's like my second dad. But like Whitney Houston as a symbol, what I realized was my dad's quite macho and he doesn't really show his emotions. The only way like I could ever really connect to my dad was through music, because that's when he was happiest. So I always loved music because it was like when my dad was in his best was when we were listening to music. Like we didn't really talk with words. We would be in a car and the music was on, and it was like, cool, we're all in a good mood, we're maybe singing along. That's the best place we're gonna get at. And like I think what I realized was when Whitney Houston died, I spoke to my dad on the phone and he was in a state of shock, and he was like, oh, I cried this morning. I was like, oh, my dad, I swear he's never cried. Like, I swear, like, I was like, and I just felt like really, like, I felt it was so important that for someone like him, like quite a macho man, that this woman and what she meant and what she'd done, and it was music. Do you know what I mean? Like it's something so pure in a way, and it almost feels like something quite simple. It's you know what I'm saying? And like that, for that to touch him in the way it did, I was like, rah, like, and so she is someone I feel like I care a lot about. So yeah.
I was watching that documentary the other day about her life, and it just, it was so touching.
I read about it. I haven't watched it. I read about it. We were
It's
just
a hard
talking
watch.
about
It's
it.
a really hard watch.
I need to watch that. But it was like, I think it was just like when I read all the articles about, like the article about it, it was just like, this is stuff that you just never knew about Whitney Houston, because it was such a media controlled thing. She wasn't just allowed to be the woman of color that she was. Do you know what I mean? There were so many barriers on that in itself. But I really want to watch that.
Definitely. Eva, you've already touched on it a bit, but I want to kind of get to know how you guys feel about being called a female journalist or a female artist, but having that female before what your job title is. How does that make you feel?
Tampon.
I feel like it's evident. It's like an explanation that doesn't need to happen. People aren't stupid. Don't do that. Don't patronize me and everybody else that reads the poster. Don't do that. You don't need to.
It's true. I mean, it's like, you know, you just have to look at it like, oh, is it like, oh, Seb Bias, the male DJ and producer, oh, Jizzy Rascal, the male MC. It's like, nah. So why the stupidity of putting what I am in front of like who I am? Is just like, everyone's got eyes, they can see, like, what is the point? It's not a selling point, because then if you do that, you're making it into a selling point. So then what are you selling? Are you selling my femininity? Are you selling my sexuality? Are you selling my womanhood? What are you selling? Because you're not selling me as an artist, you're selling what's between my legs. Do you know what I mean? You know, that kind of came out of nowhere. I haven't felt that before, but yeah. Woo! Woo!
Jesus!
I want to know how politics feeds into your music, even if not overtly, but like covertly. How does it play into the music that you make and that you're surrounded by, all of you?
It depends on what I'm writing over. So I got me some acrylic nails right now, so I can't play guitar. I did actually Google how to play guitar with acrylic nails on, and it just pulled up loads of videos of Dolly Parton. But no tutorial though, Dolly. So we're still waiting for that. But depending on what energy I'm writing over, different things will come up. So sometimes, you know, everybody's written about love or a breakup or yada yada yada. But sometimes the social commentary will just pour out of me. I feel like I will have absorbed enough from the media, left, right, and central, fence sitting, like to have come to a conclusion that just needs to come out. And I find myself in the last 18 months writing about who I am in relation to like what I stand for. It's very easy to say what you don't stand for. I don't like this, I don't like that. what do you like though, and what do you mean? What do you mean, and what do you stand for? And I'm finding I'm writing a lot about that at the moment in relation to, you know, what people are suffering with, whether it's like man, woman, child, war, and like the political systems that we live amongst. And America is terrifying and fascinating. The fact that we're in the pocket of America is terrifying, and I'm not fascinated by it. I'm like, could we climb out of here? Like, is that a thing? Can we get out of the giant's pocket? It's sweaty and it stinks of shit in here. Like, I fucking hate it. So yeah, I find I'm writing a lot about like as I see it. Yeah.
I think, you know, coming from drum and bass, like, obviously, all my tunes that probably people know is like, I'm about singing about being a chick in love, I'm in love. But, like, anytime, over the course of my career, I have made my how I feel, who I am, what I stand for known. And as a woman, I've received rape threats, death threats. The best thing I ever had was I put a fucking vest on, yeah, a picture on my Instagram, Roe versus Wade. It's a legendary court case. It's when women first got the right to have an abortion in America, and there's an anniversary of it every other year. I always make some form of statement. I remember one time I put it on my Facebook page, and I received about 200 messages. I didn't think a baby killer like you made music like that. And that's the kind of shit that I don't like, because I really would like to say who I am, and I don't think men who say a political statement then get threatened by their sexuality. It's not like a man will be like, fuck Theresa May, and somebody be like, oh, I'm gonna rape you because you don't like Theresa May. But that is something that I have definitely come in contact with over the course of my career, only because I make drum and bass music. I make drum and bass music, and the majority of people that want to go listen to it don't want to hear a woman's opinion. They just, in fact, we were just talking about this, yeah. There was a dude that put a comment on about female MCs, yeah, up. I'm going to say his name because it was disgusting. He should be called out for it. Clayton said our women MCs are shit. And then underneath, all these silly people started to comment about the women in this scene that have made money and continue to make money when his label has closed down and he don't do no fucking raves no more. And some of the misogynist shit that I wrote was what I read was just like, mate, it's 2017 and still in drum and bass people think it's fine to call out women. It ain't no place. Women can't. I hate the sound of women's voices on a mic. So it's like, are you fucking nuts? Get out the rave then, because women are here to stay. Do you know what I mean? Standard. So in terms of like writing and putting politics in my music, drum and bass wise, I'm not gonna lie, I honestly shied away from it. Because I don't make music to receive death threats and rape threats. I make music because I love it, and it's something that really is a part of me. And I think, like, you know, stepping away from drum and bass, I don't think drum and bass is a misogynistic world, but I just think, mate, like, for a minute, it took me out of my own comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? It took me out of drum and bass, where it was like, oh my God, should I say this? Should I have an opinion? And that's bullshit. It's bullshit, because I'd like to know any man who's felt the same in music. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, like I say, I don't make music, but when it comes to the things I'm interested in, I think I went through a phase as a teenager where you're trying to find all these answers, and I was like super into like Akala and like Logic and like into all of these really conscious rappers. And as well, I do a lot about French music. So in France, because it's this like second biggest hip hop market outside of the US, they've got this massive spectrum of all these different kinds of music, and their political rap is incredible. It's really good. So I was always into that kind of stuff. As something I was, you know, trying to find something in. And I found that later on, I've just thought, you know, you don't need to be always so overtly political. You know, your existence is a political act in itself very often, you know. So I think that later on, when it's come to me doing the work that I'm doing, I'm talking to people, I've also realised, you know, the lines are really blurred. So I've spoken to people who are very, very politically conscious artists, and I've spoken to people who are less so. And I'm always actually really drawn to the people who aren't, especially at this time when we're talking about political engagement and people not feeling like they've got a voice. I find that quite a few artists, they kind of want to say something, but they feel like they've not got that right, and they maybe don't know enough, and
they sort of play it down just for the sake of saving their music and saving their fans.
Exactly, yeah, because they feel that it's like, you know, it's quite risky, and they don't want to make a fool out of themselves.
What do you think of those kind of artists?
You know, I understand them. I don't think it's fair necessarily to be saying somebody who does music, you've got to be political, you've got to go out there and say everything you're thinking. It's like, it's hard enough as it is, and I'd rather you just make sick music and that speak for itself. That's what you do, that's what you're good at, and that's your skill that you're doing. But like, I've appreciated people like AJ Tracy. I interviewed him for The Guardian following the Grenfell fire, and he spoke to me about all of these things that had happened in the area. He'd obviously done that video for Labour, you know, talking about the area, talking about the issues with housing. So that's why I wanted to talk to him. But one of the first things AJ said to me was like, you know, I'm not an example, you know, I'm not here, you know, I do bad things, and I'm not here to like tell people how to live their lives. And I was like, that's exactly why I want to talk to you. I don't want to be talking to these people who are preaching and holier than thou and like that's what everybody is. Do you know what I mean? Most people are like a bit rough around the edges and stuff, and I think that those conversations, if you can let people know you've not got to come as an artist with a complete flipping, you know, like you know, theory of how everything's going to be fixed. You just come and say what you want to say. You've got a platform, and you are allowed to come here and make whatever case it is you want to make for what it is that you know. That's what I think. So
how easy do you find it, like pitching sort of politically charged, because that is based a lot around the work that you do, but like if you wanted to pitch to other publications, how is it ever received when you're the person pitching it?
What do you mean, like pitching something political?
Yeah.
I mean, I mostly just work with The Guardian because it's hard enough getting your foot in the door with anybody. So once you're in and you're like, right, that person, I'm going to go harass them at their desk when I know they don't want me to, so they just say yes. That's like, it's part of the hustle, right? So like, I do find that, you know, like when you go talk to people, it's horrible, but you've got to kind of sell yourself as like, you know, I've got access to this person, I've got the in, obviously I get the background because and you've got to sell yourself with the story at this point, being a young woman of colour, and I don't like that, I hate that, but it's what you've got to do right now. But I do find at the moment that people realise they're so detached from what's going on in the media. Like every time I go out, people are like, oh, fuck the media, I hate journalists. I'm like, me too. But like, you know, so then commissioners are realising like, oh shit, we actually have no fucking clue what's going on, because we all live in North London in nice cushy houses, and we only ever go see like a brown person when I pick my kid up from the school gates for 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And there's some parents there. Do you know what I'm saying? So they realise that they need people, right? So, you know, like, yeah, okay, we're underrepresented. Yeah, okay, like people don't want to listen to us. But at the end of the day, they know they need us. And if you've got that knowledge when you go to somebody, that's giving you a little bit of power and a little bit of comfort to be like a little bit more pushy when you get there.
Thank you. How I want to know how you all deal with like microaggressions. So, for example, if you're turning up to a set or to a gig or whatever, and they're expecting someone else because you're a woman, or because of the way you're dressed, they think you can speak to you in a certain way, regardless of who you are and what you do. How do you deal with being in those difficult situations?
I feel like I'm getting better at dealing with those situations because they happen a lot. But yeah, just small things like turning up to a venue and having a vocal pedal and trying to set that up, and somebody just coming in and just starting to do your job for you, just under the assumption that you've just turned up with this piece of equipment that I don't know how to use it, guys. I just somebody gave it to me and I'm so confused. I use it every weekend. I know how to set it up. You're doing it wrong. So this is awkward, but could you just get out of my way, please, and just let me do my job? That'd be great. Yeah, just with a sigh, just doing it with a sigh, because it would be exhausting to try and teach everybody all of the time. I think I would lose my mind, and it's not my job to teach everybody all of the time. I just think patience is a fucking virtue, man. Like it's a virtue. And not every sound engineer I've ever worked with, it's actually in the minimum, it's actually in the minority sound engineers that I've worked with that patronize me like that I just remember it when it happens. But But I remember the first time I did have a problem with the pedal, and I was like, oh, this is awkward. And his name's Ben Capp. He's a sound engineer from Bristol, and he was so like I actually didn't understand what I'd done wrong, and I'd bought a cheap XLR and I plugged it in and it fried something and it just wasn't working with anything anymore, and I had to send it back to the company. But he was so patient. I remember the next time I had a problem with the same thing, he was just like, give it here, and just took it off me and walked off with my equipment. And I was like, wait, it didn't work like that last time. Excuse me, could you come back with my thing? How would that? I don't think that would happen to anybody else. I really don't. I really don't think that would happen to anyone else.
I think like men, if that happened to men, they like all stand around it together like, well, do you think it's that plug? Oh, it's probably this plug here. But with a woman, it's like, let me take the shit away from you and we'll deal with it over here. Do you know what I mean? Like when I used to like go into a rave and it'd be like, okay, so I'm a singer and I'm not going to be like chatting on the mic really loudly. So what I need is monitoring. Do you know how hard it was in the 90s to get a fucking monitor for an MC in a club? Even to this day, MCs are still like, dude, I need to hear myself over the club. Like that's just part and parcel of what I do. But I think like, you know, very quickly when I was like being MC and whatever, I got this tag as a diva because I'd be like, I'm not fucking going on if I ain't got monitoring. DJ's got monitor in the booth. I'm out in the front. I don't have a monitor. Why don't I have a Oh, Jenna G, she's such a diva. She's such a diva. Such and such was here last week and he didn't need a monitor. Yeah, because he's fucking chatting down the mic. He's chatting really loudly like this. I'm singing. It's a different kind of vocal technique in terms of how I use my voice. And me asking to be able to hear myself is not diva-ish. It's literally how fucking a PA system works. I need a monitor to hear myself outside of the PA system. And you could put my name on a fucking poster and sold the thing. So just give me a monitor. That's one of the biggest things I had as an MC, arguing over standard club equipment that any man in a booth had. So it's like, mate, seriously.
It's that thing of like men being perceived to be bosses when they're demanding all of these things rightfully or whatever.
Yeah.
But as soon as a woman does it, she's bossy.
Oh, look
She's
at that
a
bitch.
diva.
She's a diva.
She's this,
She's
she's
a
that.
bitch.
I've started checking the amount of times, like I notice it when I'm like, oh, excuse me, and sorry, can I do my job? Sorry, can I do my job? Ah, no. It's really upsetting. I hear myself do it often.
To be fair, I heard you and Generals were like, sorry, blood, bluka, could I? Nah, they never said that. Ever. So it's true, though. You always find yourself like, because of that, you always find yourself wanting to be like, I'm not trying to cause a problem, but it would be really nice to have this thing that everybody else has. You find yourself like talking like that when you don't, we're up here effing and jeffing. That's not how we get down. But in order to not be a problem, you find yourself sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes just being all like,
Sorry.
Being polite is one thing, but just feeling like asking for the basics and having to apologize for that is something totally different.
When you talk about microaggressions as well, like it reminds me of this one little story which doesn't seem that deep, but it's like one of the bigger commissioners at my work is really supportive. Is like, yeah, we should get you doing more things, and they know that I'm always hustling to like learn stuff on the job. And he was like, okay, cool. There's a sit down interview. You can go. I'll send you with a camera. It's in Birmingham. All right, cool. And you do it. It's with the girl who was in, the EDL guy that was shouting a woman wearing a hijab, and there was someone else that come and defended her, right? So I was interviewing those two women the first time they were meeting each other. I got sent up on a train, but a man from my office was very upset that I was getting sent to do this because he was like, rah, like, I do that, like I should go as well. And I was like, all right, see, cool, if you want to come, I can learn from you. I'm very open to learning. I'm not like a closed off person that thinks I know everything. But when we get there, he's kind of being a bit patronizing about how we do stuff. And then he says, where should we set up the interview? I'll go, I think there, the lighting seems good. He's like, yeah, right, good answer. I was like, cheers, mate. So I go to set it up, and he goes in the room and he turns around and he goes, actually, no, that's not going to work. Sorry, she doesn't usually film. We're just letting her try it out today. And I was like, did you just tell a fucking contributor that I don't know what I'm doing? Like, I've been given the opportunity to do this thing as the youngest person, right? So that I can do this thing. But, you know, like, I don't need you to be kind of making it look... And these girls are going to be thinking, oh, so you sent, like, what, work experience girl or something to do our interview or something. And I was like, right. But I didn't let it get to me because I was like, obviously I've got a job to do and I'm very professional. So I just, like, pushed it to the side, did my thing, whatever. But, like, you know, the way I'll deal with that is, like, I do an interview with him later on, which is quite a big interview. And I'm like, right, give me the SD cards. He's like, I think we should do it. Like, give me the SD cards, fam. I'm going back to the office. I get the SD cards. I go back. Don't listen to anything he said. I edit the video. I put it up on the website. I'm like, I remember in that time you spoke to me that way, and I'm going to get my way on this thing. And it's totally blessed. Like, I hold no negativity. It's all calm. It's all good. And, you know, like, the balance has been restored. So it's all
Yes,
good.
get your own back. We're going to have to round up soon. But before we do, I'm going to... Just before I throw the questions out, I want to ask you guys if you can big up any publications, any artists or any movements that are doing things to make a difference for women in the music and media industries.
Galdem. Straight, first and foremost. I used to work with a collective from Austria called Jungle Sisters. They're still going. They started in the 90s and they're still going. And now they're like a really big movement. Obviously, some of them got kids. So that kind of sisterhood through music has traveled down through the kids. And it's like where it started as just a DJ and MC crew. Now it's like a bass music support network for women. So definitely got to big up the Jungle Sisters because it's something that just like grew and grew naturally. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like they're not in anyone's faces. They're just like, oh, you're new, you're from Austria. Come on, let's talk. Like this is how we do this is how businesses run and stuff like that. So yeah. Boomtown Clan.
Woomtang, yes. I've got to shout out Saffron Records from Bristol, started by a woman of colour, Laura Lewis Paul. And it's a record label set up to support women in music. So China Bowles was their first artist, who is incredible. I was there for her. I was there for the audition process. So the people that we accepted into the label to develop. I had a hand in. Well, I'm mentoring for them, but I had a hand in choosing who we were going to mentor. And she was the only person from the whole of the audition process that came in, and I just wrote one word on the form, which was yes. She was incredible. She wasn't phased at all. She was so together, and even when she came in to speak to us, we were like, everyone just shut up, and we just listened to her. She was an incredible woman, and she's had a really good and full festival season this year. So China Bowles, if you want to check her out, and Saffron Records, definitely check them out.
I'm going to give a little plug to my sister's project that she's working on. My sister's doing this thing called People of Colours, and it's a platform where young filmmakers of colour can basically get their work shown. They do these exhibitions as well, where in London they'll be showing people's work. I find it really interesting because I'm not really part of the real like creative scene with films. I work more in journalism, but I found some like amazing stuff, amazing women making things. So that's People of Colours, or POC, and they've got an Instagram as well, and that's my sister. Big up my sister.
Oh wait, I forgot to say sorry. Girl Gang Manchester, sorry. I'm just not even thinking about my own hometown. Girl Gang Manchester, kind of like all that kind of stuff. Female supportives, female feminist rights, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Girl Gang, they're smacking it at the moment. So check them out as well.
Wicked. Thank you all so much. Before we wrap up, does anyone have any questions for any people on the panel?
You got a mic. But no monitor, unfortunately.
Hello. So I'm a singer and a rapper as well. And when I first was thinking about the drum and bass scene, which is like a good few years ago, I actually felt that I was going to write lyrics for a man to say, because I didn't actually think that I would be able to do it. A few years later, I went to a drum and bass open mic, which was in Cambridge before Warning, just me and this one other guy. So afterwards at Warning, I went up to the guy who ran it to say, oh, thank you very much for like doing that. And he said to me, these are his exact words, he said, yeah, you're all right, but if I were you, I'd stick to the singing. So yeah, exactly. So I'm just, my question is, I know, like, so my name's Miss Merkel, and now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have stuck the Miss there, because I don't actually want to, like, note myself as a female. and sometimes you do get sort of females put on as a sort of a novelty thing. But what do you guys think about females putting on female nights to not necessarily just females, but to, you know, put that platform on? Because it does kind of see like the men seem to support each other more, and us, because of, you know, society and the media, we're more set up to be in competition with each other than to actually support and love each other.
I mean, in terms of that, it's like, I don't have a problem with female focused stuff. I think it's like, you know, sisterhood is strong. There's a reason why society has tried to keep women apart and turn us against each other, because we are fucking magic when we hang around with each other. That is just standard. Do you know what I mean? And I think like in terms of that, it's very important to kind of like definitely have those connections, especially in the bass music world, because it is very male dominated. And I think having maybe not so, I'm not down with like all female lineups. I just think it's like a really obvious thing to do. Do you know what I mean? But I am totally down with a balanced lineup of men and women put on by a woman. Like, there's no, that to me is how everything should be. There should be women promoters, there should be men promoters. Equally, the lineup should be as diverse as each other. So in terms of that, I'm like all power to anything like all female. But it's more about for me, I think it's more about the sisterhood and support and knowledge, as opposed to be like, we only work with girls, we only do things with girls, because that's what guys have been doing forever. And for us to do the same thing is just not really pushing anything forward, is it? Like,
yeah, balance and equality is the end goal. I think that I'm not so about marketing an all female night as an all female night. I think that does make it more of the novelty, and it shouldn't be just a thing. If it was like all women on the lineup and you didn't say nothing about it, and it was a sick lineup and it sold out and sick, but it's not about we're putting women on to put women on. That feels like a quota, and if you're only going to do the bare fucking minimum, what's the fucking point in doing the bare minimum? It just feels like that. It should just be, she's sick and she got booked. End. the end. Fin. Like.
I'm going to jump in there, even though I know the question wasn't directed at me. We throw club nights in London, and they're at the Yard. We have a residency there. And we, obviously, as Galdem, we just work with women of colour. So our lineups are all female, but it's just a night. And they are, I might be a bit biased yet, but they're one of the best nights in London at the moment. We're coming up to like the 5th one, I think, now. And they've sold out every time. All the DJs have smashed it. And it's just a club night. It's not all female, all this, all that. It's just Galdem's putting on a night, and it's sick because we just get to party with pretty much just women, innit? And like, you don't have men grabbing up on you and like getting in your space. So yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I like the sound back.
Any other questions? Anyone?
Hello. Check. First of all, I'm from Toronto, Canada, which is the most multicultural city in the world. Not from me, but that's what they say to me. So I grew up around a lot of people of color, me being a white dude who, the first CD I bought was Independent Woman by Destiny's Child. Loving the Galdem over there. So I realized music brought people together no matter what race, where you're from, and I started playing the guitar, and the greatest guitar player that ever played the instrument was a black man by the name of Jimi Hendrix. And he played this thing better than everybody, and he was a black dude, and nobody to this day can wreck it. He just murked it, you know what I'm saying? So you girls are in this male-dominated world where it's like you get up there and you do this thing, and it's like I'm listening to that, and it's like you do it, and it's just something that I can respect. I don't really have a question. I just want to say keep doing what you're doing, because no matter what, fuck that shit. Fuck the fancy shit. Big up Eva Lazarus. Big up Eva Lazarus.
Cool. I think we're going to wrap up now, but thank you so much to all of my panelists and everyone for joining us.